So the remnants of Hurricane Debbie have passed through here. I live in Maryland, so thank God we didn't get hit quite as bad as some states did. Our pool actually overflowed though, but it's been draining, so it doesn't look quite as bad as it did earlier. I wish I would have gotten some footage earlier, but I've just been really busy. And the pool has turned cloudy from all of the rainwater. So last night was the worst of it. Last night it rained harder and longer and louder than I've ever heard it rain in my entire life. It was unreal how loud it was and how hard it was coming down. I didn't film any of that last night, but I will show you some clips of some of the rain from this morning and how hard that was coming down. But you can see, much to my dismay, that all of the mulch I put down in here has washed away. If you follow my channel, you saw that earlier in the spring, I put down a lot of mulch in here. I made everything look really nice. I decorated, and the mulch was working out great, but it's gone. It rained so hard and so long that it's just gone. So once the storm is completely passed out of here and things start to dry out, I will be getting some more mulch and putting it down again. But yeah, so this is what we're dealing with right now. A lot of mud. And Mrs. Danvers here, for some reason, she loves the rain. She's a buff Brahma, in case you're wondering. I don't know why she loves the rain. Well, yesterday evening, before it got bad, it was just like a really light drizzle at first starting out. She decided that she wanted to sleep outside, and I always do a head count every night to make sure they're all safely inside of the coop. And thank God I do that, because she was in a pretty good hiding spot behind the coop, and it was dark at that point. But I checked and I found her, and it's a good thing I did, because it was raining so hard later on that night that I don't even know if she would have been okay. It was bad. Mrs. Danvers, why do you do that? But yeah, it's a mess in here. I put their little bridge that they go into their coop with up here because it kept sliding down from all just like the water rushing through. But yeah, you can see luckily they have lots of places to perch so they can get up out of the mud if they want to. So now I'm going to show you some shots of the rain real quick, and then I'll show you something exciting. So I just recently made a video about broody hens and what they are. Well, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to introduce, hopefully, introduce some baby chicks to your broody hen. So we're going to see how this goes. If you watch my other videos, you know I just recently lost one of my salmon fadderals, which is that breed right there. That's Juniper. And Peach, who was her best friend, is the one that passed away. And I was not planning on getting any more this year. However, one of my friends just recently ordered a ton of salmon fadderal chicks, and she surprised me and brought me some at work the other day. Well, unfortunately, one of the ones she gave me passed away, so I only have the one now. So I'm actually going to get another one from her this evening, so that way it's not alone. It'll have a buddy again. And then once this storm is completely moved out of here this weekend and we're in the clear, I'm going to introduce the chicks to the broody hens, and we will see how it goes. So you can follow along the process and see how to do it safely. And in the meantime, I put a little mirror in with the surviving chick so that way she wasn't lonely, because I had to go to work. Everyone wanted off today, so I was the only one there to open the store. So unfortunately, I couldn't really handle things as quickly as I wanted to with that, but like I said, I gave her a little mirror so that way she can see her reflection, and she thinks it's another chick, and it actually is working really, really well. She loves the mirror. It's sad, but it's also kind of adorable seeing her interact with the mirror. And my mom kept an eye on her for me today and made sure she was doing well. So I'll show you her real quick. I'll show you the other chick that's about to join her, and then, like I said, this weekend, I will show you how to safely introduce them to the broody hens. This is not going to be fun to clean up. But yeah, apparently there's been mudslides not too far away from where I live. There were tornado warnings all day, so I'm glad it's finally calmed down now. But anyways, here's that chick. So when my friend got off of work yesterday evening, we met up and she gave me a replacement chick so that way mine wouldn't be alone. So let me introduce you to Cobbler in honor of Peach, who passed away, and Chamomile. So now it's the next day. All the rain and the wind and the storms are gone, so I'm going to take them outside and introduce them to one of the broody hens, and we'll see how this goes. So first thing is first, I'm going to get the other hens out of the way, so that way they don't interfere. Because the non-broody hens could pose as a threat to the chicks. So you always want to be on the safe side. So they'll come in here and they'll enjoy some grass while I see how the introduction goes. Juniper's like, don't forget me. You can go in. So we'll just close them in there. So we're going to try with corn flour. So to prepare her for the chicks, I let her sit on some eggs. They're not fertile, of course, because I don't have a rooster. But I thought if I let her sit on them, she'll be more likely to think that she actually hatched these. You could also use wooden eggs if you didn't want to use real ones. So now, one at a time, I'm just going to place them directly under her. And I'm going to sit here and watch, because she has never raised babies before. And a first-time chick raiser could get a little bit confused. She might not recognize them as her own. Luckily myself, I've never had any issues with a broody hen adopting chicks, but usually it's Mimosa who does that, so she's a seasoned veteran. We know we can trust her, but I've heard horror stories from other people about broody hens getting confused and rejecting the babies. So I'm just going to hang out and watch and see how this goes. Always make sure you have a backup plan. If your hen rejects the chicks, make sure you have a brooder already set up so that you can take care of them. I have a whole video that I made about how to raise chicks. I'll put the link to that in the description in case you end up having to be the mother. And the reason I say be prepared beforehand and have it already set up, because chicks can't make their own body heat, so you don't want to have them stuck waiting while you get something set up. You don't want to stress them out. So if you have to take them away from the broody hen because she's not accepting her role, make sure that they can go directly into a brooder that already has the heat, the feed, and the water. Once I know for sure that she has accepted them, I'm going to move them into a caged off area where they can still see the rest of the flock. That way they won't become isolated or picked on when I reintroduce them all once the chicks are larger. So I'm going to put them somewhere nice and safe where they can all still see each other, but where the chicks will be fully protected from the larger hens. And I'll put a chick safe water dish or waterer and feed dish in there. I'm going to use a chick starter feed because chicks need to be on an 18% protein feed for at least 16 to 20 weeks. They can't have the layer feed because the high level of calciums in the layer feed could end up really damaging the growth and the bone development of the chicks, because since the chicks obviously aren't laying eggs, they don't need those high calcium levels. But they are growing and developing, so they need the higher protein levels. Broody hens don't tend to lay eggs during this period, so corn flour won't really need the extra calcium, so it's totally fine and safe for her to eat the baby feed. If she does start laying eggs in the meantime, I can provide her with an oyster shell supplement to help with the calcium. Okay, so corn flour started pecking at the babies. Not real hard, but I'm not willing to risk it. So we'll see if Honeysuckle wants some. Well, she let her get right under her. Silkies are known to be really good moms. So the reason I started with corn flour before I started with honeysuckle was because the last time I tried to give chicks to honeysuckle and I caged her off, she panicked and she didn't hurt the chicks at all. She was not aggressive at all, but she was, I guess, confused and she wasn't really taking care of them or sitting on them. She just kept panicking and trying to get out of the cage and get back to the coop because I think that her mind was like, I need to go sit on this nest. Obviously, I couldn't let her in the coop with the babies because the other chickens have to come into the coop at night, and I didn't want them to hurt the babies. But we'll see. I'll give her a little bit more time to bond with them before I move them. And I have the other girls closed off in the other pen, so we got time to be patient. She's got a ton of eggs under her, though, so I'm going to just really gently remove some, so that way the chicks have more room to be warm, because honeysuckle is on the smaller side. Since I want to give them more time to bond, I set up a little cage, that way the chick doesn't get lost in the coop. And now I'm going to bring out a little feeder and water for the chicks so she can show them how to eat. And then once I can tell that they're truly bonded, I will move them into a better enclosure. And like I said, this is a very, very temporary setup that I have. It's just caged off so that she can bond with them. I'm not going to keep them in this all day because it's not enough room. So the mother hen will make little noises and chat to her babies all day long. She'll show them where to get food, where to get water. She'll keep them warm, of course, and she'll protect them. They usually take care of their babies for up to 8 weeks, and then at that point their babies are starting to get more independent and they can regulate their own body temperature, so then they'll start to venture off on their own more. That's a great sign. She's talking to them, she ate with them, and then she put them back under her. This is going very well. So now that Honeysuckle has bonded with the babies, I moved them into this little run, and you can see I have it inside of the larger main run. so that way they can all see each other, which will make introducing them and letting them all loose to the rest of the flock super easy once they're big enough and the time comes. Because at that point, they are all going to be used to seeing each other in each other's own space and territory, so it should go over really smoothly. Since it's still a bit muddy in here, you can see I put down some pine shavings and a little cardboard box for them to go into as well. She must have found a little worm or something she was trying to show them. I also put down some grit in here as well. Grit, it's basically like little tiny stones and it helps with digestion since birds swallow their food whole. There it is right there. It's that brownish red colored stone. And then in the evening, I'm going to put them inside of here, so that way they're inside the coop with the others and they'll be safe from the elements, and the other members of the flock will get used to seeing the chicks inside of the coop with them at night. That will also teach the chicks from the start that this is where they go at night to be safe and to go to sleep. And I'll put their feed in here with them as well. And honeysuckle, of course, to keep them warm. So now I let the others back in. We'll see how it goes. And of course, they're fully protected because they're in here and I'm keeping an eye on it. I think honeysuckle is still a little bit nervous having them out of the nest. So I'm going to let them stretch their legs for a little bit and then I'm going to put them back in the coop in their caged off nest in there. And by tomorrow she should be a lot more confident. She was a little bit distracted when I moved her into here. She wanted the eggs as well that were in the nest boxes that she could see, so I took some out to give to her so that way she would stop freaking out and trying to get out of here, and it seemed to have done the trick. I also cleaned off all of the muddy stuff and I refilled the oyster shell and the grit in here. So here's a little update. It's been a little bit over a week now since I gave Honeysuckle her 2 chicks, and you can see that they have bonded wonderfully. As I mentioned earlier, since she was a little bit panicky over the other eggs in the nesting box, I gave her a couple eggs to keep her calm, and that did the trick. Obviously the eggs weren't going to hatch, so after a day or two, once she was fully settled in the little cage that I'd moved her into, I took the eggs away, and she didn't care because by then she was fully invested in these 2. So today I have them out here so they can get some exercise, get some more space. You can see all the other hens are being nosy and checking out the babies. And the babies are way too small now, but once they're fully feathered and they start to resemble little mini adults, I can let them loose with the others, and since they'll all be used to seeing each other by then, so gradually, it should go over really smoothly. I do have a video all about how to introduce new chicks to a flock, so I'll put that link in the description if you want more tips on that. And I also have a video all about chick care, so just in case you encounter a situation where the hen does not accept the chicks, you're going to have to take care of them, so make sure you're prepared for that. I'll put that video in the description below so that way you'll know how to care for them if you have a broody hen that rejects them. Because just like Cornflower did earlier in the video, she was broody, but she did not know what to do with them, so it didn't work out. But luckily our backup here accepted them. Silkies tend to make really, really good moms. Look, they have the little chicken zoomies. Now we'll do a little demonstration of how the moms will show their babies how to try new foods. So they already have their regular food and water in here, but let's see what they think about mealworms. That little clucking noise that she is making is her way of telling them to come over and look at the food. Don't forget to subscribe so that way you can stay updated on these chicks and their progression, and so you can see the video of when they're old enough to join the whole flock without having to be caged off for their safety. Another quick suggestion, if you want your chicks to be friendly and tame, is you can also start feeding them mealworms right from your hand. That will teach them from an early age to associate you with something positive. It's so cute how she wants to hand them the snacks. This week it's been on the chillier side. But the mother hen will know what to do. Whenever they get too cold, they just go back under her again and they sit under her. And then once they warm up again, they come out and play and eat like this. So there's Juniper in the background. She's my original salmon faverol. These are going to be her new friends. Juniper, are you happy to have more of your own kind joining you soon? Oh, also look at these really cool eggs. The Easter eggers have been on a roll. So I'll show you this one first. As you can see, it's huge. I wonder if there's 3 yolks in there. Here it is compared to another egg that's actually a pretty decent size, but you can see it looks small compared to the green one. It's so huge. And then I thought this one was really cute. This one's tiny. And the camera doesn't show it. Well, it kind of shows up. It looks cooler in real life though, but this half is a lot darker than this half. And look how dark the bottom is. And this is no editing, no filters. This is its true color. But like I said, in real life it looks even cooler. Okay, let's see how many yolks are in these.
Okay. It's a double yolker. Yup.